All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. We're with State Representative Joe Harrison, who is joining us, and he's going to spend the whole Bayou Time, or most of it. We have Terrebonne General Medical Center. We have Dr. John Floyd's going to be on later on in the program, and of course sports with Stan Gravois. But let's continue our talk. One of the important things that I saw was that two heavy-hitting Republicans sort of disagreed on something. That was David Vitter and the governor on a health care plan that would have affected Chabert, and I got to say indirectly, would affect Terrebonne General because, believe it or not, Terrebonne General Medical Center has to amp up if anything happens to Chabert because of the population. So explain what took place there, and is it remedied now?
No, this is going to be a hot button issue between our governor and Senator David Vitter. David Vitter came out against the hospital down in New Orleans. He has looked at the numbers. It's been an issue that I have fought, and our delegation pretty much has fought, because it will adversely affect both of our hospitals. And we have two very successful, great medical facilities in our community. And why should we, as a community, again, when there's an excess of money that's made because of good management at Chabert Hospital, have to send it to Baton Rouge to be given to other hospitals that are failures?
What was it, $9 million?
$9 million went out of the hospital and went out to other hospitals that have been failures ever since they've been open.
Right.
And we haven't cut the strings there. And that's where we pushed very, very hard. But the big facility in New Orleans scares me. I've been against it from the beginning. There's 5 major hospitals in New Orleans. The money that's going to have to come from the state is astronomical. We're looking at a $300 to $400 million shortfall every year that's going to have to be supplemented by the taxpayers of our state to a hospital in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And I just don't feel it justifies what needs to happen in New Orleans. I think that there should have been a cooperation, as we have here, between a private and public institution to try to work the best plan possible at the most economic value to our citizens to give them the best medical care.
And for too often, Chabert gets lumped in with other hospitals around the state, but Chabert has a pretty good reputation.
Chabert is top of the line. Chabert was known very, very strongly, actually number one of all the hospitals in the charity hospital system, as having the best accounts receivable department in the state. That's something to say in public arena, because these people, their whole department was brought to Baton Rouge to help straighten out the rest of the hospital. So, you know, the people of Terrebonne Parish are good accountants. They learn their trade well.
And Terrebonne General and Chabert work well together.
Yes, they do.
You don't always see that in every city.
No, it's many times it's kind of a dog-eat-dog kind of thing. And again, we have 2 great facilities run by great people. We have great medical staff and people who truly care about the needs of our people.
All right, let's take a few phone calls. You ready, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. HTV, welcome to Bayou Time. Your question or comment for State Representative Joe Harrison.
Yes, Mr. Harrison, I had read in the newspaper that in the closing days of the before the session closed, that you had secured some additional funding to give your staff an increase in pay and to also open up some additional offices in some of the parishes where you didn't have an office. And if the answer to that is true, then I want to know how you can justify that when state employees hadn't received pay increase in 2 years. State employees are being laid off. Offices like the food stamp office, the driver's license office, revenue offices are being combined with other parishes to save money.
Okay, let's let him answer, okay? Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, sir, I can tell you from the beginning that is not true. What it was is that supplemental funds, I run a very efficient office, and I cover the 2nd largest geographic district in the state of Louisiana. I have offices in all 3 of my parishes. I pay for 2 of them out of my own pocket, and one main office is here because of the population is the largest here in Terrebonne Parish. What I did is put a bill through that said the supplemental money does not go back to the state that I have saved. I needed a bigger office to accommodate. I got a little, very small office here. I wanted to expand that office. I wanted to make sure if we needed another staff member, because we average some days 1,500 calls a day, which is very trying on the people that work for us. And I just, I was upset that there was only a few of us in the state that were given an allotment, and we were sending it back. I thought I was doing my job. When the rest of them were maxing out every dollar. And I said, well, wait a minute. The people in my area could use that money too, so I'm going to keep it.
So you didn't want to send it back to the general fund or
No,
the state?
sir.
And also, I think in fairness to you, you do write a lot more bills, and I know you're limited, but you're always in a you probably have more paperwork than any legislator I've ever seen. Is that factual?
Yeah, I wrote, well, just last year, they said I broke the record, not that I was trying to do that, because when you write a bill, as I did, I wrote 58 bills, actually it ended up being 61, but when you write a bill, all of a sudden it brings everybody to the table, and I settled a number of those bills without having to go through the process. So, yeah, I'm active. I'm very, very fortunate to have good staff. Vicki Lark is my staff member here and does a very, very good job. We're very attentive. We answer all of our calls. We answer all of our emails. Someone may have fallen through the cracks, but we cover it and make sure that we accommodate the needs of our people.
And you know me well enough. I'm not protecting you, but I'm just trying to tell it like it is.
Yeah,
I have seen the paperwork that you do, and I got to give you credit on that.
137 bills in 4 years.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, here we go. HTV, welcome to Bayou Time. Your question or comment for Mr. Joe Harrison, please.
Hey, Mom, what's happening?
What's up, Ricky? How you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. How you doing, Mr. Joe?
Very good, sir.
Well, that's good. My question to you is that you are a very fairly good politician and you know a lot about politics, or you wouldn't be in that area or that field. But my question to you would actually be, if everybody you knew got together, such as David Vitter, David Scalise, Mary Landrieu, Norbert Chabot, the whole 9 yards now, as a state of Louisiana, and went to Washington and had the paperwork to prove that Louisiana, throughout all of these years, has helped the country. And why are we still getting flat and not enough help? Because like I say, you've been doing a good job lately, is what I can tell and what I've been told. And the people around you, you surround yourself with very good people as well that help you help the people. But we need like about 10 or 15 Joe Harrisons and about 12 or 14 freaking David Vitters. That way Washington, D.C. will not only get the hint, they will pay us back as a state.
All right, let's let Joe comment.
Wait a minute now.
Go ahead, make your question. Hurry
Well,
up.
they're trying to take the hub out of Louisiana, and they're doing it, and I don't want to see that happen, Joe.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
Well, Mr. Ricky, you're right, and I appreciate the kind comments, but, I'll give you an instance. We wrote a bill this year that we're the only state in the nation that has a 3-mile limit to get the royalties of our oil, but yet we're the largest oil state in the nation. When you can go right there to Texas, and they pick up another 7 miles, which means billions of dollars to the state of Louisiana, how can they treat one state in one way and another state in another way? So we're challenging that this year. Finally, this goes back to the 40s and 50s, and we're after that. But you are right. Louisiana, and just in our coastal area, which I'm on that board, but we drain 36 different states. So it's not a coastal issue for Louisiana, it's a coastal issue for the whole mid-section of our country that drains into the Mississippi River. And that's what we've been pushing. We have a very good delegation right now, and our local delegation, I can't say enough about Norby Shawbear and Gordy Dove, my good friend Gordy, Damon Baldone, Truck Gisclair, Dee Richard, Sam Jones, and Karen St. Germain. We work together as a unit. We got more done with our delegation than many, well, I'd say 90% of the rest of them. And I feel very, very confident in the ability of those people and the things that we bring to the table to bring back what we need to protect our people.
All right, let's take another call. HTV, welcome to Bayou Time. You're on. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Mr. Harris, can you tell me what's going on with the Highway 315 on by Lodge? They have worked on the lower end. They have worked up around the high-rise bridge, and the section that's in the center, nothing has been done for the last 3 weeks.
All right, Highway
Can you
315.
there, please?
Well, one of the problems that we're having is naturally the rain delays. It's backed up a lot of the projects that this particular company is working on. I received some information, because I receive this every day from the people at DOTD locally and from the state. What they've done, they've had to back off of the project to get more materials, to get the right information that they need right now to shoot the elevations, because we have insisted, and they have, and I give this to the head of DOTD now, Sherry Labas has been a great help to us in getting that done. We have elevated it 18 inches when the original plan came out 10 inches. So they're putting a lot more money into it. I just ask you to have some patience. You know, this project's going to be completed to your satisfaction. I think that you got to do it right, and I don't want them just going in there and overlaying. I want to make sure.
You had a change order, and change order.
Absolutely, we have a lot of major problems along that road with collapsing under the highway, and we want to make sure that we fix that before we put that overlay there.
Okay, very good. Let's move on. HTV, welcome to the program. Your question or comment for Mr. Joe Harrison, please.
Hello, Martin.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Joe, you're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
There's one thing I'd like for you to do, if you don't mind. You said you're watching that lottery money, correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
And why don't you print in the paper where all that lottery money goes, all these organizations that it's going to, where the people can read this.
I think you did on your webpage, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that on my webpage, and
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have computers.
yeah, and I was just going to say that there are two issues that we've been getting a lot of emails on. One is that, because you're right, a lot of people don't understand the voters of the state voted for education to get the money coming from gaming, and yet it's not. When we talk about the amount of money that goes to education, this is a sin. This is a shame that we're fighting for every dollar in our education system is, when we're giving it to horse tracks and to other groups that should not receive that money. We didn't vote for it that way. At least I didn't. I know you didn't, and the majority of the people out there. It was for our children to get good education and have the money there. And this next year, you're going to see some very, very aggressive legislation. Actually, the governor took a report that I wrote, and he pulled some of the money out and put it into TOPS and a few other areas, which I was happy to see that. But we need to take that money back. We also need to look at a couple other things that were done just of late with contracts with out-of-state companies that we've asked for a full investigation where that money should come back into our coffers too. So we're trying to stay on top of it. That's a hot button issue, and it's one that, you're right, once it gets out in the paper, and I will make sure that gets printed, people are going to be very upset, and a lot of calls are going to be made to Baton Rouge.
You ought to come back. We did a show on that a while back.
We did.
I mean, you did a whole 90 minutes on it or whatever, but come back and we ought to get into that again, because we get a lot of calls.
Well, the thing that happened right after that, and I'll mention this because I feel somewhat vindicated, is that right after we did that show, two of the people that were receiving that money were indicted and will soon go to prison for taking hundreds of thousands of dollars out of the account, the gaming money, for what they were doing. They were spending it on $2,500 hotel rooms, $400 bottles of wine, it was something that just turned your stomach to know there's where the education dollars we voted for were going toward. And we're going to be on top of it. We're going to do something about it this upcoming year.
Well, bad that education didn't get it, but good that the crooks are going to jail.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. HTV, welcome to the program. Your question, please.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I have a question about the Social Security checks.
Social
do
Security.
you think that that they're gonna stop them?
Well, hopefully not. That's a federal issue. It's one that I watch very closely because so many of our people, especially our older citizens, have worked their entire lives to make sure and are dependent upon that money. I would hope that the bipartisanship of what's going on today stops, but the core of that issue is this, is that Social Security was used by so many other entities in government that they took money out of it and used it for other issues that it wasn't intended for, which is criminal. Those people deserve what they worked their whole life to get, and we should make sure that happens. I do not fear that it will not happen. I think it's going to happen. I talked to 3 of our congressmen just in the last 2 days. They think that things will come about, but they have assured me that those very vital payments are going to go out.
But the big misnomer about this whole thing is that even if they take this thing over the deadline and fail, we can still pay the bills and they still can get the check. The public is being misled on this, aren't they?
This is scare tactic politics.
We don't now. All the money for the entitlements and the extra stuff that they've been doling out won't be there, but people will get their Social Security checks.
Yes. Social Security is an issue that they don't want to touch. That's the sacred cow of our nation's economy right now for many of our citizens.
Whatever party touches that is dissolved.
It's over for them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't fear for that, and I want to reassure our citizens. I'll make sure, and I have every day, I'm talking to them in Washington to see where we're at, and hopefully they'll come out with a statement, I'm told, either tonight or tomorrow, that will put this to rest, but Social Security safe.
I know you talked to Jeff Landry quite a bit,
yes,
and he's been in the middle of that fray over there. What's his take on it?
Well, Jeff, I watched Fox. I was in an office the other day, and during the middle of the day, the Cavuto report, which is the financial report, Jeff was on. And I think they like his Cajun accent. That's why they bring him on a lot. But I told him that was Troy Landry from Swamp People that he's living off of. He said it right. He said it's time for the federal government to start living within their means. If you look at the map of those foreign countries that receive help from this nation, from our taxpayers, we could solve a major portion of our debt service by that. But they don't have a balanced budget amendment there. And that's the biggest problem. You know, they sign a blank check year after year after year. Right. Every state in this nation has to have a balanced budget. We cannot go in and just spend all the money. Right. We have to balance it. We had a $1.6 billion deficit, and we solved it. And it was very hard work to do it. They have to start working to solve that situation. They need, as Jeff Landry pointed out on that show, a balanced budget amendment and live by what your means are. If you can't afford it, don't buy it.
But I never can remember, Joe, watching, and I watched the other night, and I was nauseated. Not only with the president, but with the Republican side too, because they used their airtime on national TV to just slice up the opponent. But I remember back in the day when Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill got after it, it was diplomatic. They did whatever they had to do behind closed doors, but not in front of the American people.
This is something you'd think you'd see on Jerry Springer.
Exactly.
I mean, it's that sad that our leadership is lacking to the point that they can't come out and say, this is best for the American public. The Republicans did come out with a plan. The governor spoke the other night, but he's never had a plan. There's no written plan. Right. And that's unfortunate. I mean, the president. And that's unfortunate, but you are right. We need to stop this petty arguments on TV and do the people's business. That's what they were sent for. And really, I wish they'd have to live under the same means that we do. They're not on Social Security. Right. They're not on the Obama health plan. All of the things that are making us do, they don't have to live under, and that's a sad commentary.
Yeah, y'all don't make near as much as they do.
No.
Trust me, I know that. All right, what we're going to do, we are going to take a break, come back. We have some more time. We're going to come right back to the phone lines. They're all lit up. And just a programming note, Dr. John Floyd is going to be on the desk to talk about endometriosis. So that's going to be in short order. We'll be right back. Don't go away.